Good evening, everyone. Tonight's True Blood was called My World, My View. It starts out, Sookie's walking down the hallway, coming back from the roof. And she goes in to console Eric, and they start kissing. He drops fangs, and he's about to bite her. And she wakes up in the car. She's on her way back with Jason driving this limousine, and Bill's in a coffin in the back. And Jason and Sookie pull into town to find everything's in shambles. Pretty much decadence has taken over the town. Now, all due to Mary Ann. And she's building some sort of a sacrificial altar. And Sam, they switch over to Sam. He's trying to explain to Andy about Mary Ann. And Bill and Sookie get home to Bill's house. And Hoyt's there, and his mother's there, along with Jessica. And she's under Mary Ann's spell, telling them that everyone's after Sam. And, Bill and Sookie are going to her house. And while Jason goes to Merlot's to see what he can do about the townsfolk and what's been going on while he's been gone. And Sam and Andy are locked in the freezer, and Tara, she's tied down over at Lafayette's house. Bill and Sookie find her Sookie's house in a mess. And Bill tries to, Mary Ann shows up as they're looking around. Mary Ann, Bill tries to fend off Mary Ann by biting her, but this black blood starts coming out and he gets real sick. And but then Sookie touches her face like a light of shock, blurs her. Shocks Mary Ann. And Mary Ann's left wondering what Sookie is, And as Bill and Sookie are getting away, Bill takes her arm and sucks some blood out to get better out of Sookie. Now Jason pulls up to Merlot's. He's got a bunch of flares and weapons and stuff and a chainsaw he's going to try and save. And but Sam kind of gives in, after they get out. He does ward them off one time by fooling Terry and tricking them all. Terry has some sort of a hold over everybody. He tells everybody just to leave the bar, and they all leave, but they come right back in. And they take Sam, and they're tying Sam off to the top of the roof of a station wagon. And Jason tricks them all by grabbing a couple of road flares and saying he's the god that they're all looking for. And Andy holds up sticks behind his head so he has horns, right? It kind of looks like one of the god they're all waiting for. And Sam says, "Go ahead and smite me. And Jason doesn't really know what he's talking about, but of course, Jason turned into a fly or some small thing that they couldn't see. His clothes just drop to the ground, and then still acting like the god, Jason tells them all to go away and go back to their houses or report to Mary Ann or whatever. So Bill is still trying to glam Tara you know, to trying to come back to normal. And between him glamming her and Sookie going into her head, they bring her back to normal. And Hoyt's mother is kind of pissing off Jessica. They're back at Bill's house now. And Hoyt's mother's pissing off Jessica. You know, that ends with her like on the mother's stomach. Don't know what she's going to do to her. But Bill and Sookie are outside. And Bill says, well, they're both trying to figure out what Mary Ann is. And he thinks that there is some person he can find, but he tells Sookie, you stay here, and I'm going to go see the one person I think might be able to help us. And he's real fast. He speeds off, and he shows up in like this very ancient type looking house, and they open the doors, and these big guys in suits say to the Queen, she must be like the Queen vampire, has been waiting to see Bill. And the doors open up, Bill walks in, and you just see this leg hanging from sort of a perch or something, and there's just blood dripping down off the leg, and that's the end of the show. So it's going to be a pretty interesting last two. There's going to be 2 more episodes, so I think they're going to leave us with some real good cliffhangers. I hope I touched on all the main points for tonight, and I thank you all for your participation, and I'll catch you back on the tube. I'll be doing the second to last one from the boat, and then I'll be doing the last one here from the house when I get home on the 4th. Well, the 6th, the 2 days after the 4th, I'll be getting home on. Good night, everybody.